Hello. I'd like to share with you today some real live experiences that I've had with my clients. There's primarily three issues that every business owner deals with, and it doesn't matter the size of the business. And it has to do simply with making more money, having more time, and having productive employees. Those problems are manifested in many different ways in many different companies, but when you peel back the layers of the onion, that's what you get down to. There's a three-step process that I teach my clients to go through. And we're only going to touch on a very high level, but it's attitude, it's strategy, and it's discipline. Now, attitude in and of itself is the most critical, and there's 7 steps associated with it. But we're only going to talk about one today. And it has to do with the business owner taking ownership. If the business owner does not take ownership for the problems that are happening in his business, changes cannot occur. But more importantly, once the ownership occurs, the business owner must understand that in a business, you are only as successful in that business as you are in dealing with your employees, your suppliers, your customers, and all the people you work with every day. So a true successful business owner understands that success doesn't come necessarily from what they do. It comes from the people they hire. And they do an absolutely outstanding job of giving credit where credit is due because they know that their success is totally dependent on the people around them. The people who are that successful understand that people is the business, regardless of what your business is. The second aspect, and we heard our previous speaker Joel talk about it, it's having a good business strategy or a good business plan. And I use those terms interchangeably because, for the most part, they're one document. But there's something significant. The companies that don't have a good strategy and don't have a good plan, they're like a ship in a harbor without a rudder. They just go in a circle. And they have trouble understanding how to get ahead. The challenge is, without a good business plan, you don't know what kind of behaviors you want from your employees. You don't know who a good customer is. You don't know how to hire, and you don't know how to fire. You don't know who will be successful in your organization, and you don't even know yourself when you'll be successful because you haven't defined what success means. And that's a real challenge because how do you manage people? How do you hire people? How do you know what a good customer is if you don't focus on that through your strategy? A good strategy sitting on the shelf is absolutely useless. A poor strategy, well executed, is outstanding. A strategy doesn't have to be a long document. It can be simply a one-page guiding document. It can be much larger if you have other needs for it, but typically a one-page document will do. Now, many companies do a business strategy, they do a business document, and they fall down on this next very critical step, and it's discipline. If you don't work the plan that you create, you will not be successful. And many people fail to understand that a business strategy is a living document. And by living, I mean it changes. You should be revisiting it monthly, quarterly, weekly, whatever you need to do to stay on target and to stay focused. The important thing about discipline is when you do your strategy, you know who to hire. You know the people that will make you successful. You know the customers that you want to go after. You know the markets that are important to you. You know how your product solves customer problems. So it makes your life so much simpler. In order to get time back in your life, you need to get focused. In order to get focused, you have to have a good strategy. In order to have strategy, you must be disciplined. Now, what I'd like to suggest is that each of us all have challenges in our business, and I'd like to ask you to walk through that very simple process with me and solve a problem in your business. First, I want you to define what the problem is and take ownership. If nothing else, take ownership for whatever that problem is and make a commitment to yourself that you'll solve it. The second thing I'd like you to do is put together a high-level approach that you're going to use to solve that problem. And understand that successful business owners, without exception, have trusted advisors. They hire coaches, they hire board of advisors, they have board of directors because they know they can't know it all. So don't be afraid to ask for some help. There's strength in asking for help. And then the third thing I want you to do is follow through on the plan that you create, because I'd love to see you as successful as many of the people that I work with, many of the people I know, and many of my clients are becoming.